You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are The Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building, Macklemore.
What's up, y'all?
Welcome.
He looks all calm and everything.
What am I supposed to look like?
I don't know.
Supposed to look excited, energized, or something.
That's true. I am
You have an
pumped.
album coming out September 22nd?
Yes, I do.
I wasn't even going to talk about that. The fact that you're here. I seen the story on TMZ that recently a drunk driver ran into your Maybach.
Yes.
Now tell us what happened with there.
An alleged drunk driver.
Alleged drunk driver. Okay.
But, yeah, he was drunk. Let's call it what it is.
We'll say alleged because he will try to sue you, so we'll say alleged.
Yes, alleged.
Okay.
I was with my nephews in the car.
How old are your nephews?
10 and 14. 14-year-old in the front, 10-year-old in the back.
My goodness.
And we were driving into the hotel. And guy came, taking a turn that you probably should have taken at about 15 miles an hour. He was probably going 50.
Sheesh.
Almost tipped his truck and just smashed right into me.
Did you see
Merged
it
into
coming
my
at
lane.
all?
Yeah, I saw it coming. I mean, he was going so fast, there was nothing I could have done.
You were driving?
Yeah, I was driving.
Oh, my goodness.
And, yeah, it's like that split second of like, am I going to die? Boom. And, yeah, I'd never been in a car accident like that. You know, I've been in fender benders and whatnot, but it was scary, man. It was very scary. And, lucky.
Your nephews were good?
Everyone was good.
Everybody
I mean, there
had
was some.
seatbelts on and everything?
Yeah, everyone had seatbelts. The Maybach is, of course, a very safe car. The reason why I bought it,
Oh, that's
because of its safety.
Okay.
And
But because of its safety, that's why
yes.
he bought it, I'm sure.
yes,
I'm sure.
not the flex
Well, let me
whatsoever.
go get a Maybach.
Not the fact that it's a beautiful machine.
Yes.
But go ahead.
that I know you appreciate as well.
Yes.
You like those beautiful machines.
I own one as well.
That must
but
be
yes.
traumatizing for, your nephews, too.
Oh yeah, no, my the 10-year-old in the back was screaming, cussing. I was like, oh yeah,
I
he
could
was.
imagine.
He was just like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
And you can't get mad at him. You can't beat him. You can't say
Of
stop
course
cursing.
not.
You just got to let him go.
Thank God you're
Yeah,
alive
you gotta
and
let him
cursing.
cuss.
Right,
You gotta
right,
let him cuss. Get that out. But yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. We were lucky to walk away, and everyone was okay. I thought the other guy was gonna be dead when I walked up to the car, cause like he didn't have a Maybach. He had a truck, and but he was okay. I mean, he was bloody and his
So
head
how
hit
was he
the
when he
windshield.
came out? Did he apologize or was
He
he
was
he was out of it?
unconscious. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And then you ended up having to go to court for a suspended license.
Oh, come
after
on.
all that.
You didn't have a
Yeah, that was the worst part of. I mean, that wasn't the worst part about it. By
So then they
by
give you a
far.
ticket. You just get in an accident.
It was like I was there for 2 hours, at the scene, talking to police, all that, and then at the very end, he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, here's a court date. You have a suspended license."
They could have just said, man, just make sure you take care of your suspended license, too.
Nope, they had to give me that ticket.
What was the suspended license for?
Like not paying a ticket, a speeding ticket.
Damn it, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I didn't even know about it.
Right.
Yeah.
But you took care of it, of course.
I took care of it.
Okay.
Now, you've had quite a journey already, with #1 songs, and then even just dealing with your own personal life issues in the midst of all of this, and coming back and doing a solo album now without Ryan Lewis. Did he produce anything on this
No,
album?
not on this album.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, why not? You guys beefing or?
There's a lot of beef. No, there's not.
Everybody
a lot.
Y'all
I was
to be
joking. I was like,
beefing.
wow, really? I said, okay.
Spill it.
Spill it.
Nah, there's no beef at all. We worked together for 10 years straight, every single day in the studio, on the road, music videos, like literally every day. And I think after the last album, it was like, you know what, let's take some space, let's take some time and, go work with other people, do our own thing when
That
the
sounds
timing
like a
is right.
relationship. Like if your
It
wife
does,
says,
it does.
you
There's
know
no way to
I just
explain
need
it
some
without
space.
it. Yeah, let's go be with
guys-
other
Let's
people.
Let's go be with other people.
and
You have an
see
open
what
relationship.
happens.
You have
See
an
what
open
happens.
relationship now.
Yes,
If it's
yes.
meant to be, we'll get back together.
Yes.
But so
I've
how
tried
was
to
work-
pull that one with women many times.
And it doesn't
Usually happens when I would go on the road. I'd be like, let's just take some space
Because I'm
for the
going
next
to.
2 weeks
Right.
and see what happens. I'm an asshole.
Well, so far from what I heard, because I've heard 2 songs and a snippet of the song with Offset. So you had the song and the video, Glorious, for your grandmother's 100th birthday. You took her out on the town.
Yeah.
Then you had the song Marmalade with Little Yachty. Cute video with you guys as little kids.
Yeah.
Driving around, having a great time. Marshawn Lynch is in that video as
Shout out to
well.
Beast Mode. Yep.
Now, it seemed, and then the song with Offset, I heard only a snippet. I don't know if the whole song is out yet.
Not yet.
Okay, but I just heard a snippet of that. So it seems like this is more of a fun album.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, there's some moments in there for sure. There's some songs in there that are a little bit darker, but for the most part, I mean, it's where I'm at in life. You
Really?
know, if I'm in a good place, that's gonna be reflected in the music. You know, I built a studio in the crib, got my daughter upstairs. You know, I would record, go up, hang out with her, go back down, and it was just a fun experience. And when you're in that place, that's the creativity that's gonna come out. So
I didn't expect that from you. I expected, you're a very conscious person. You talk about everything that's going on in the world, whether it's gay rights or police brutality,
Black
Right.
Lives Matter.
Black Lives
Right.
Matter, or what's going on
White
with Trump.
supremacy.
right.
What made you have the fun route this time, opposed to being more conscious?
I mean, I did that on the last album, and people always say to me like, yo, there's so much like going on in the world right now. Like, I know you got some shit to say. And for me, it was like, you know what? I don't want to make music because I feel like I have to, or that's what people expect. I want to make music if I'm feeling that, and I was feeling it. You're watching the news, like I'm feeling those things. But I've already touched on it. And not to say that I won't touch on it again, but I think that music is resistance even if it doesn't touch on those issues specifically. I think Glorious is a song of resistance. It's just an uplifting song. It doesn't have to hit the nail on the head and be like, this is what I'm talking about. This is the subject matter. This is the social, moment that I'm speaking on right now. It's more like, I'm just trying to have fun in the studio and hopefully pull people out of those moments that they're seeing on the
Kind of
news.
need it.
Yeah.
You said you died twice in Glorious. I never heard that before. I never heard that saying. Is that something that's popular?
You know what? My wife gave me that bar. She didn't give me the bar. She gave me
So
the.
she gave
Oh, Macklemore has a ghostwriter.
Okay.
His
Yeah,
wife.
my wife. My wife. No,
wife.
she's
She
like,
gets her
she's like,
publishing.
give me my pub. I need 2 points on that album.
Did you ever hear this, Envy? You died twice.
No, I didn't.
Once when they bury you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name. And I thought that was dope. Again, she didn't rhyme it, so no points.
No points.
What
No
made her
points.
tell you that?
I was
How was that
Yeah.
conversation? Like, you died twice, huh? What
Okay,
was
two
that
times.
argument?
She pointed out the whack bar in the song, was like, yo, rewrite that shit. I don't know how it came up, but we were on the table and I think I was rewriting the song and she was like, yo, you need some you need some substance here, and then gave me that thought. She had heard it like on a podcast or something. I was like, oh, it's dope.
You think that talking about politics affected the sales of the last album?
Yes. I mean,
Why?
I think amongst other things, I think we had a rollout that was pretty horrible.
Trash. okay.
Because horrible. Trash is really negative. No, it was trash. Let's call it what it is. It was trash. We just had so much time in between, like Downtown dropped and like, the album didn't come out for 7 months after that. White Privilege 2 was obviously a very polarizing record, which we knew going into it. But yeah, I think it was the rollout. I think anytime you bring up an issue like white supremacy, you're going to have a bunch of particularly white people like, what? Like white supremacy? Like, what is he doing? What is this concept? Who's he trying to appeal to? There's just so many questions that came from it. But I wouldn't, outside of our own timing, I wouldn't have changed a thing. I'm very proud of the music that we made and stick by it, and very proud of what White Privilege was as a record and as, behind the scenes of the conversations and the relationships that I built around that record and talking about race and really going there. So
Is it very difficult for you being a white artist and going against the system? Because do you have both fans? Because it seems like you would have both fans, people that are for the system and people that are against the system.
it's difficult for me to complain about being white in America in any way.
Right.
I think that this system is built for me to prevail.
Succeed, correct.
That is what white supremacy is. So it's difficult for me to be like, oh yeah, it's difficult. I think that anytime anybody talks about race in America, I mean, you look at what's going on right now, you bring up white supremacy and, you're going to get a bunch of feedback and criticism. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's important that we have conversations around race, that we're honest around race, that we continue that dialogue, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, knowing that, you know, it's a learning process, that we're all trying to learn and get better at talking about race openly. But as long as there's that conversation happening, I think that we're in a good place.
You feel like it's your fight to do?
Absolutely.
Why?
We as white people are the reason why white supremacy exists. You know, it's not on people of color to fix this problem. It's on white people to fix this problem.
Now, when did you decide that it was time for you to do another solo album? Because it's been a while since you did one. Like, how long? Over 10 years? 12 years?
Something like that. Makes me sound real old. Yeah.
What made you say, okay, now it's time for me to do another solo album?
You know, when Ryan and I were like, we're going to take a break, it was definitely a moment. You know, I'm like, I don't need to go back into the studio. You know, I don't know what I should do right now. Do I go into acting? Do I, you know, what do I want to do, like, creatively? And it was really my wife that was like, yo, get back in the booth. Like, go make an album. Don't take off 2 years. Don't take off more time. Like, go get in the studio and do what you love to do. And that was that moment. And I set off last November. You know, when we got off the road, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a song a day in November. And I'd never really done that before. Like, the way that me and Ryan worked was like, okay, like, now we have a subject. We're going to work on this beat and this topic for, you know, a couple of weeks. You know, I'm going to rewrite a bunch. I'm going to keep writing. He's going to keep working on the beat. This was like, yo, every day, let's start something new. And songs just started to stack. And I was liking the way it sounded. And I was like, okay, this is an album.
Did your relationship with your wife suffer when you were going through a period of, like, you know, substance abuse?
Oh, yeah.
Was it bad? Like, did she tell you, you have to get help, you have to do something? Or was there a period of time when it seemed like it might be over?
Yes. If I'm using drugs, then that's like the worst version of myself.
Right.
You know, I can't show up and be present in a relationship. I can't be present for myself. Everything goes to the wayside. I only focus on getting loaded. Like, that's it. And because of that, relationships suffer. And my wife is at the forefront of those relationships. You know, she gets it the worst. You know, I'm not there. I'm just escaping, trying to not deal with what's in front of me, which is life. So, yeah, you know, she's always the first one to be like, to look at me and be like, are you okay? And call me out. And yeah, so we definitely went through some ups and downs for sure.
Patches, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, stuff that's not fair to her that I've had to go back and make amends for. And in trust issues, you know, I mean, still, like, you know, the more that I'm, you know, doing interviews on The Breakfast Club and, you know, music's popping off and it's on the charts and all these things.
You're about
like,
to go on tour.
Yeah, about to go on tour. Like, my wife gets scared.
And
She's
like,
like,
this
you
is
know,
how it started the first time.
yeah, exactly. Like, it got really crazy during the heist, and I didn't know how to handle all the fame and the success and the ups and downs with it. And that's when I turned to drugs. So now she's like, you know, make sure that you're hitting your meetings, make sure that, you know, you're connected to your sponsor, that you're spiritually fit.
What got you into drugs? I know you said that it was the success of heist and you didn't know how to handle it, but what introduced you to that?
Because, you know, what's ironic is that you were doing so well.
Yeah, you
were
doing
top
so
of
well.
the charts.
Right.
From the outside, it
And
looked
so
like your life was great.
People
Yeah,
always think
absolutely.
that when you
Ellen,
have
you know.
money, when you're successful, things like that don't happen.
Right. Like, why would you go get high? Like,
Right.
like you're
Absolutely.
good, you know? I mean, to answer your question, like, it was just from the jump. It was like I never had that off switch. I never had that moderation. I never had that, you know, I'm just going to do it on Saturday and that's going to be it. Or I'm just going to have one drink and that's going to be it. You know, it was always like, what the fuck is one drink? What the fuck is, like, one pill, one blunt? Like, it just never stops with me. The minute that I put it in my body, I have an allergic reaction to it where I need more. And
Right.
it doesn't stop.
You know, the crazy thing about it, I've never used drugs, and that's my fear, that it feels so good, you just never know when to stop. So I try to make my drug life. So what encouraged you to use drugs? Was it the songs, and you heard songs on radio, but like, damn, let me try this? Or was it people close to you, or?
You know, I don't know. You know, you grow up with hip hop music And, and by the time I probably started to smoke weed, I was in, 7th grade. And,
7th grade, sheesh.
I'm
You were
listening
12 years old.
I'm listening to,
It feels like the cool thing to do.
yeah, I'm listening to Wu-Tang talk about smoking weed. Like,
Okay.
it's
So we're
just,
gonna blame it on Wu-Tang today.
it's Wu-Tang's fault.
Wu-Tang.
No, but like,
Shout out to Method Man.
yeah. No, it's all that stuff does influence you though. We can like joke about it, but the truth is like
Miley
we look
Percocet.
up. Yeah, you look up to rappers, particularly I mean, even as a grown ass man, I'll hear some music and be like, oh, that sounds kind of fun.
Like we just had
know?
DJ Paul and talking about scissor. And that it does sound like that's cool. They do it,
and
popping.
I don't have a problem with people talking about their drug use. Rap should reflect your life. If you smoke, if you drink, if you do pills, whatever. What I have a problem with is the people that don't do that and still rap about it to sell records.
Right.
That to me is super corny. It is a detriment to society. You don't have to be a role model. Like you don't have to, be clean and sober like by any means. Get loaded, talk about it on record, whatever. But if you don't do that and you talk about it, to me, that's like the worst.
I think it's really helpful when people have gone through things and talk about what they went through. Like for you to come up here and other interviews and just be open about the struggles that you had, because things like that are really helpful to other people who might be considering like trying something or struggling with it themselves.
Right.
And then they're like, okay, Macklemore went through this, and at least I know I'm not alone. At least I know even if you're successful, you can fall into those pitfalls.
Right. And that is what, when I first got sober in 2008 and went to rehab, that was a conscious choice for me to put, I wrote a song called Other Side. And that was a conscious choice of me, like, I can't not talk about my struggles with drugs and be like an authentic artist. Like, this is a part of who I am. I have this disease. I need to speak on it. I relapsed. I made a song called Starting Over about like, losing your clean time and having to start over. I've talked about, relapses in the past. I want to be an open book about it and be like, it's progress, not perfection. I'm never going to be perfect with it. It's going to be a thing of daily maintenance. And if I only talk about like, I'm sober, but I'm really getting loaded, that's whack too. I need to be honest with my struggles.
Absolutely.
Does that mean you don't drink at all and don't do anything? Don't smoke weed, nothing?
No, I don't do anything.
Gotta absolutely positively stop.
But again, I have relapse. I haven't drinking alcohol in almost 10 years. But I had moments of doing drugs and falling back and had my issues for sure.
Now, with your wife, how supportive was she? Because I mean, it must be hard because usually when you have these situations, the people closest to you is the people you hurt the most.
Right.
And I'm sure she was hurt many a times by you.
Oh yeah.
your
I mean,
situations
just the lies. I turn into a liar. Just dead on. Like, you're tripping. Like, I'm sober. Like, how could you think that? I can't believe you would accuse me of that. Like, you don't trust. And I'm high as fuck.
And of course she can tell.
Of course. But at a certain point, you can't do anything. She can't
She
make
gave him a
me
test.
tell her the
Yeah, right.
truth.
Right. And then you
know?
don't want to leave somebody and then it gets even worse.
Right.
Because then you feel responsible. Obviously, she loves you. So.
Right. Nah, she's a trooper. She stuck with me in moments where she probably shouldn't have.
Now, what are some other things we can expect from this new album?
Gemini.
Yeah, we're getting dark
I
down the
know.
trail
You
of
know,
addiction.
we gotta talk
It's
about
getting
everything,
real.
We had a discussion the other day. It was on Lip Service, but we talked about signs and how some people won't date somebody just because of what their sign is. Like, Gigi's a Gemini, and she gets like clashes really bad with other Geminis. How important is your sign to you?
I just identify with my zodiac sign in the way that there is a split personality. There's a duality. And, it ties into what we're talking about with the addiction or sobriety. It ties into like, knowing that material objects are, fleeting and don't really lead to happiness, but I want to get the bust down rolly, like that to me is
who pretty nice over there too. I've been there.
That to me
pretty
is
dope.
That to me is who I am,
Right.
And I wanted to embrace that on this album.
What are some other characteristics that you identify with as a Gemini?
Oh man, it's really just that one. I
Just that one?
I don't really
You
know
don't know
what
that
else
much about
there
her,
is.
folks
Nah,
like
I was
that.
just like, it's a dope album name. But you know what? Every time that I read about my sign, I'm like, damn.
You read your horoscope every day?
I've read it like twice. I'm like, yo, that is hella on point. That is super on
Because
point.
it's mad vague. It'll be like today. Is
Yeah, I don't. All those are some bullshit. But for me, when I read about my actual
Let me see what it is
birthday,
today for you.
that is when I'm like, okay, this is who I am. You know, there's a creativity to Geminis, and there's a duality, and that's about all I know.
You know,
You need to research this
I know.
more.
I do.
with you doing an album and you being a white rapper, do you feel like people respect you as a rapper?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, you're never going to have the approval of everybody.
Mhm.
You know, I don't care who you are. Like, there's going to be people that talk about, in my opinion, some of the greats and talk shit about them.
Right.
So you have to start there. But at the end of the day, yeah. And I think that there's also, I think it all depends, man, like what vantage point you're observing from. If you're just like, oh, Macklemore made Thrift Shop, that's what it is. Although to me, I'm rapping my ass off in Thrift Shop, period. But then that's all you know, and you just hear it on the radio, and you're like, oh, like my little cousin likes that song, like he can't spit.
Mhm.
That's one thing. But if you look at the body of work, and you look at the trajectory of what I've done, and you listen to albums as a whole, and you're a fan of hip hop, and you don't think that I can rap, I don't value your opinion.
Now here's your horoscope today. Let's see
Oh,
if it's
boy.
true.
I don't know.
You have only one thing to do before you settle down for some serious recreation with your favorite playmates. Make sure all your business is taken care of. You're up here doing what you got. Okay. Make sure.
Wait, my favorite playmates?
I don't know what that means. All right. You wouldn't want to be in the middle of a wonderful evening and then suddenly remember you left the computer on, would you? And you'll want to leave the cell phone at home, right? Well, then be sure to double check on your way out the door.
Yo, what website
Yeah, where
are
did you get that
on,
from?
It's
Angela?
astrology.com.
I don't know.
That's
about
got to
that.
be the best
Usually
one.
it's like, you know,
If
the
they got that
sun strikes at
domain.
Yeah.
noon and gives you power. Like, I've never heard that.
Listen, it's either horoscope.com or astrology.com. Okay. Don't let others push you around today, Gemini.
Yeah.
That's the one
There
I'm
you
used to.
go.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Don't
People
push you
may
around.
talk themselves up, but there's little behind the words. Be careful that you don't misfire.
Mm.
All right, so don't masturbate. This is a day to care about you
That's
and
not
your
good.
needs.
That's not
You
gonna
gotta-
happen.
Yeah.
Take steps toward making sure you're getting what you want. Connect with people you've met recently. There's significance in these serendipitous meetings.
I
Yeah.
really resonated with all of that. That was so deep. That was
All you
that
heard
was me.
All you heard was don't miss when you masturbate. Now Kaepernick, everything that's going on with Colin Kaepernick, what do you think about that? Do you think we should boycott the NFL?
Yes.
Boycott.
Yes.
Okay.
Am I going to boycott the NFL? No.
No.
It's unlikely.
My Giants play
You're
tonight.
not boycotting.
My Giants play
Charlamagne's
tonight.
not boycotting.
Yeah, I stand with Kaepernick. I
Mhm.
think that what he's doing is brave.
Absolutely.
I think that what he's doing is commendable. It's the right thing to do. He has opened up an awareness
Mhm.
around the national anthem, around its history, protesting as an athlete. First of all, protesting as a human.
Mhm.
He happens to be an athlete. I think it's definitely disruptive to the NFL in a great way, but at the end of the day, the NFL, you know, is going to have the final say.
Mhm.
And there's a contradiction in what I feel. You know, I do I think that protesting me not watching the Seahawks on Sunday is going to do anything? No. But I do think that there's other ways to support Kaepernick
Mhm.
besides turning off the football game that I really want to watch.
Right.
And I know that
See, it almost feels like we say, yeah, we want to support you, but look, we just like football a little too much.
right. It's
Which
kind
is
of fucked
crazy,
up.
right?
It's kind of fucked up. So, but I'm being honest.
Yeah, me too.
You know.
I mean, and yeah.
You say, yeah.
I was gonna say, but I don't even know what you're supposed to do. I mean, just support different causes. You know, obviously Kaepernick has been donating money
Right.
to different causes as well, so you can donate money to him for those causes. But it did bring a lot of awareness.
It did.
To problems within the NFL that need to be addressed.
Right. I think it's he's continuing a dialogue. He's continuing a dialogue, and he's got other players, you know, kneeling for the national anthem. It's obviously there's been so much press around it. I think all of those things are good. And it's always interesting, like, it's when I first saw him kneeling, you know, and then the next game that I went to, you know, where I'm on the field and the national anthem comes on, it gets in my head. I'm like, yo, should I kneel? Should I not kneel? Like, you know, I don't want this to turn into a thing. Like, and then slowly you're like, you know what? This is the right thing to do.
Right.
I wasn't just off the jump like Kaepernick's kneeling. Like I have to do my own research. I need to follow up. I need to trust my heart. And then at a certain point, it was like I went to the Mariners game with Sloan the other day, and the national anthem came on. I was like, nope. My daughter's first sporting event. No, I'm not gonna stand for the national anthem. 2.5.
2.5.
So it's a process, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's not a diss to any military. That's not, you know, that's looking at the history of America. That's looking at where we're at in 2017. That is looking, you know, the home of the brave and the free and all that. Like, that is not applicable to all people in America right now. You know, and you look at the verse that was, you know, originally written. You look at all of these things and you add it up and you're like, this is not the right thing to do. I should not be doing this just because this is what I've been told my whole life I'm supposed to do. I should be doing this because I want to do it, and if I don't, then that's my right.
Have to, right.
Well, there you have it.
Does it shock you, like the rhetoric of people nowadays, just the racism that does go on? Because there's certain things, like even what happened in Charlottesville with the Ku Klux Klan march. Does that still feel like, damn, I can't believe people really are like this?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think that with Trump being our president now, it gave racists a pass to be like, okay, now we can come out of the woodwork. Now we can.
We're in charge.
Yeah, we're in charge. We
empowered.
have, look at our spokesperson right here. He is the president of the United States of America.
Right.
I don't need to hide anymore. And that is, in a way, it's good to expose who's who. But in the same sense, I think that it is also given people, you know, like racism at school. You know, I think about the youth. I don't think about just, you know, the protest that's happening, which is horrible enough, but I think about the kids of those white supremacists. I think of how they're talking to their peers at school.
Right.
You know, I think of hatred being at the forefront of what we're pushing out of the White House right now. That to me is what's scary, and how that trickles down to the youth and the next generation. Because, you know, it's not like white supremacy will not be defeated in our lifetime. You know, but hopefully we get better by generation by generation. But this is definitely a moment in our history that is very divisive, and we need to think about the next generation in terms of how they're taking this information, how they're, you know, reacting to build a wall and these lines in the sand, and you know, cutting programs that enable people to get the help that they need. Like, this is a big deal. And I think about all the people at the time that are like, oh, Hillary and Trump are the same person.
It doesn't matter who you vote for.
It doesn't matter who you vote for. Like, no, it does.
It definitely does.
It really, really does. And, you know, it's just a shame that we couldn't get more people out to actually vote for someone that, you know, I'm not saying that Hillary's perfect at all, but people got so caught up in the email shit. And
well, we did. I mean, more people voted for Hillary than Trump.
It's true.
But there's electoral votes that need
it's
to be
true.
changed.
Hillary Clinton wants
votes.
to get rid of that.
Right. Absolutely.
I do too.
She said that in her new book.
Well, we look forward to hearing this album. I look forward to hearing it.
And we look forward to seeing some more visuals, because I see you take a lot of time with that.
Oh, yeah, for
sure.
sure.
Envy just put out a new video that was pretty good too. But
I did. Yes.
Yeah, but very creative videos.
Thank you.
You've done. So what's the next one?
A record called Good Old Days.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can guess what that's about.
The good old days.
It pretty much spells
No
it out.
drugs in it. Not the good old days with drugs. The good old days without drugs.
Yeah, but I'm excited for you guys to hear the album. It's definitely there's some different sounds for me, and I'm rapping.
Yeah, I'm rapping. I like
and
that.
having fun.
I'm having fun.
Well, there you have it. September 22nd, Gemini. The album comes out, and then you can catch him on tour October 6th, and we appreciate you for joining us.
Thank you guys.
It's
Always.
Macklemore. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.